All right, welcome back. So today I've got an old RC. This is my first fifth scale RC I ever purchased. And last time I had it out is when I bought the 5T, and me and my daughter were racing um, around a dirt track. And I must say, from that point on, we pretty much stopped using it because it just didn't have the heart to keep up with the 5T. Um, but it was a good learning experience for my daughter, who was very young at the time. I think she was 9. And it was the first time I actually let her loose with a a two-stroke RC. So in that aspect, it worked out really good. She had a lot of fun with it, but I think we're at the time to where I ran across another YouTuber out there, Smith RC Studios, that had picked up the new version of this, and he was changing out his heart in that thing, going bigger, and so struck a deal with him, and I bought everything he's not using. On top of that, I also did purchase another engine, brand new, calling Horizon, finding out what I would need to convert this thing over to make it like the new DBXL, the 32cc version. This is only a 23cc, which is a very small motor, and it packed a lot of punch back in the day. But it's just at that point where, you know, it needs more power. And, some were saying, well, you can go ahead and order up a pipe for it, and that's going to increase it and help it a lot, which I agree, but it's also going to annoy everybody around me. And here in California, I just try not to piss people off. So, but I've got all the clips, I believe, out of this because I pulled them out the last time. So we're going to get this body popped off from what I remember. Now this body doesn't flip up like the new one, and that's okay because I really like the K&N body, and we're gonna have to do something with this whole air filter element. As you saw, the new one had this flat thing that came over here with an air filter that sits up in here, I think, somewhere. And then I'm not sure of the gearing on this versus the other one or the drive shafts. I know in talking to Lewis at RC Smith Studios, or Smith RC Studios is what his channel's called. He believes that this version had smaller drive shafts front and rear. So we're going to take a look at that stuff. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. We did wash it up before I put it back on the shelf. And then recently, I think I fired this thing up. And I don't know if I drained out the fuel. I know I have a nitro that I got to drain out fuel, and my 5T I still have to drain out fuel. So this tank is still clean, even though there's a lot of dirt on top of this thing. But working on these bigger RCs, it's a bit of a challenge with the size, especially the area I have to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some space, and the way I can make some space is get the wheels off of it. That's the first thing. That's just going to make it a little lighter and easier for me to move around. And I use a big gun for that. It just makes it easier for me. And these wheels aren't that big. I know some people have blown out these wheels. These are really old. And I thought this body came with another tire on the back, but I don't think I ever removed it. And I don't see a tire on it, so this one hasn't been run that much. I mean, it was my first fifth scale, but relatively I've kept it in good shape, and we haven't beat the heck out of the thing. And I almost purchased the new one rather than doing this, because that's normally what I do, is just buy the latest and greatest and go from there. But at $1,400 for this platform, and it being the same platform other than the flip up body, and of course kind of like the 2.0 electric that I have, the DBXL 2.0, that's more similar to the new DBXL, just in the electric form. So it's like they took that platform and put a bigger motor in it, an engine, shouldn't say motor, put a bigger engine in it, and went that route. Now I'm not sure on the gearing on this. I have talked to him about the gearing that his has, and I don't know what it's all going to take. I do know that everything he's pulled off of his, he's oh look, I've upgraded Spectrum servo in there, but he's pulled apart his, and everything he's not using he's going to send to me, so that helped a lot. Now, talking to Losi on this thing, or Horizon, they said this throttle linkage stuff was different versus the new one. So I'm kind of curious about that. I don't know if it's the battery tray or something here that made it different. I'm not sure. I don't have all this stuff. I know it's coming tomorrow, and I don't want to get caught with having to clean this thing up, because it is kind of dirty. So I'm going to break it down today. I'm going to get everything cleaned up and ready. So that's going to be today's video, is breaking this thing down and prepping it for its new engine. So this thing will be using some bigger Allens. So I've got my little Allen kit out here. I don't think I've ever worked on this one at all. It's been it's just worked every time, you know, I've wanted to run it. I don't like how the exhaust blows right on the body right here. That I never liked. And that was one reason I was going to get a pipe, but the pipes are just so loud. So I think this is a cover somehow. It's like you can't get into this stuff. I don't know. I'm unsure. I thought this cover was going to pop off so I can see the gearing, but I don't think so. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is we'll get the throttle linkage stuff, disconnect it, which is on this side. It's funny, it pulls this pivot point that pulls this one over to there. Oh, and it's Torx. I probably should pop off the exhaust, because then I can get to the throttle linkages easier. I can just pull it up from there. Looks like one screw. Well, the gaskets seem to stay pretty good without ripping. Now I can get straight down on that. Seems to be a little smaller than that. I don't want to take all the adjusters off as of yet. Oh, I heard something fall. So it looks like a little sleeve that goes in there. I don't even think I needed to do that. I'm going to see if I have the right tool for this set screw. So this comes off the back of the throttle linkage, and then the throttle linkage will come out. So that seems to be easier. And then I got to do the other fuel line. You can see all the oil that's around there. I don't want to rip up the fuel lines. They're still soft, they're not brittle because I drain them out and keep them as clean as possible, with still keeping a little bit of lubrication in them. So it looks like there's a bolt over here. So I'm going to flip this thing upside down. And we're going to take a look at what screws I'm going to need to take off. It's funny, there's no keyways in this one, or I think they use keys now. That's not even that tight. So maybe this is why they made the adjustment to the keyways. I think those two have something to do with the cage. All right, so I saw some stuff move underneath. Okay, one is this drive shaft deal. which I don't think I needed to take those 2 screws off. But that screw's still in there. All right. It's a smaller screw. That should be enough to take this motor out, other than this cover. Oh, there we go. So there we go. As complete as possible. God, this thing is light. So as you see, it says 23cc dynamite motor, 23cc. So I think what I can do is probably get this thing put back in. That's for our brake. Like that. I should be able to get that put back in. There we go. I'm probably going to remove out the gas tank because I want to start getting all this stuff, this chassis, cleaned up before I stick in the other motor, the other engine. So I'm going to probably take this outside, pressure wash it, I think. But I might, God, look at the size of that spur. That thing's huge. I'm wondering, the diff feels pretty good. I wonder if I should add some earplugs to this diff. I probably will. I'll probably pop open this diff, take a look at that today as well. But I think we might want to get this fuel tank out of here, just to give us some more room. That's got a plastic plug in it too. Let's get this fuel tank cleaned up. I don't know if I'm going to have to change these fuel lines. They look kind of small. I don't know if they'll flow enough for the other motor, the other engine. You can see all the dirt from the years of bashing it. Even though we clean it, it still gets all dirty. Then I want to say there's bushings in here and not bearings. We might take a look at that as well, because I'd rather put bearings in this steering. But yeah, there we go. We're broke down, which is good. Which is a good thing. hoping this throttle linkage will work. I don't know if it will. But I do have what Horizon told me I'll need for this throttle linkage to make the other one work. Just trying to tighten up the stuff that I loosened up that I didn't need to. So there we go. At least we got it broke down for now. I'm going to go ahead and get this chassis cleaned up. We'll be right back. Alright, so went ahead and got the chassis all degreased. Everything all cleaned up. And while I was doing it, I noticed that this slid off. And apparently the pin had fallen out off this right rear hub. So, I don't know why that was. It must have come loose. Yep, because the pin slides right in and right out, so that's something we're going to have to check for on all the wheels. But when the tire was on, that's pretty much what was holding it in place, rather than the set screw that should be on the inside of this thing. I don't know what size that set screw is. Or if I even have a long enough bit to go in there. Yeah, so that fits. Oh, that crescent wrench is too small. So, the easiest way, without going and getting tools, is to put the wheel back on. Like that, and then we can crank it down. Might want to put some Loctite in this thing. That's the easiest way. If you don't have a wrench that'll fit on that. But there we go. Now we're all cleaned up and ready for the parts that are going to show up. So stay tuned for that video. But here's some two-stroke content for you guys for the K&N my first DBXL two-stroke gas engine setup. And I think he said he had a 20 tooth, and this looks like it's about a 20 tooth. So I'm assuming they're still the same gear ratio. I don't know if this clutch bell and this stuff's going to work. There are some upgraded parts that we're going to end up getting for this. Since I am doing the build, I don't even know what size carburetor this thing is. 668. So, yeah, there we go. Thing's been super reliable. He said he was keeping his cage off his motor. I don't know if this cage will fit. I doubt it, since the other one's going to be bigger. But we'll have to take a look at it when it comes. I might have to order this cage as well. But at least we'll get started on the build, showing you guys what's going on. But there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if this is something you guys want to see. Is me building up my two-stroke first 5th scale RC to give it some more power. And we'll get out and rip it and see how it does. If you guys want to see it, comment down below. If you don't want to see it, no big deal. I'll turn the camera off and I'll build it on the side and show you guys it running at the end. All right, like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.